Yeah, hi Holly. Hey Becca. This is the situation with that goat we have with the precocious udder. She started getting feisty when I was milking her, and so we decided to dry her off and gave her this tomorrow treatment that's supposed to prevent mastitis when you're drying off a goat. But her udder turned blue within a day or two of trying to dry her off. I was milking her out to try to dry her off, but that didn't seem to do anything, and we're not really sure. We just gave her some antibiotics to try to keep her from having too many problems, but I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I'm trying to get your udder, darling. No, I don't have any food. You can't have any grain because we need you to dry off. She is an absolute milk tank when it comes to producing. Get your head out of the way. That is not food. But you can see, if I can get down there, her udder has turned absolutely a blue color. And so I can tell you, this is an educational video, that if you go back into my previous videos about the precocious udder, I was doing my experience on that I absolutely will never work with any goats with precocious udder going forward. This is our second one from the same lines. There we go. You can get a view of it a little bit here. And this has been just absolutely terrible. We've lost one already, and I have a feeling that she's not going to do much better. But this udder is full of milk right now, but even if it wasn't, it wouldn't be a whole lot smaller than this. That is what's called a meaty udder. And so while she has a lot of milk, that udder is thick and solid, and she came to us that way also. So she's a sweet, sweet goat, so it's going to be very hard for us because, we care for our animals very much. We've got a lot of minerals in her. We've had vets out here on many occasions. She's had lesions on her udder underneath that the vets have given us hundreds of dollars worth of different treatments, and nobody can figure out what's going on with it. So I think there's a very good view, thank you Holly, of what's going on with her. There's just something inherently going on with this goat that we have not been able to solve, and we're fairly new to goats also. So when you're buying goats, really be careful what you decide to deal with. As far as, health and genetics, check out the udders, check out the feet, check out their genetics. Even if they say, oh, they're pedigreed or they're registered or they're purebred, those words really don't mean anything in the long run. You want to make sure they're health tested for CAE or K. It's called Yonis. There are some new laws coming out where they're having mandatory testing. So I actually enjoy that that's coming. Not that I want the government in our business. I'm actually against that. But in this case, nobody tests. And we've had to deal with some of the worst illnesses that could be prevented, that people shouldn't be selling these animals with these illnesses, and they are, because they just don't care. K, Yonis, we've dealt with both, and we've only been doing goats since late 2020, since we got our goats, I think, in October of 2020, and so this is 2023 now, just April 2nd now. So, make sure you're checking those things. And sometimes people will say, oh, yeah, I checked them, and then they'll send you paperwork, and I didn't look close enough, so then I got 3 tests that were all Yonis 3 different times, or they sent me test results on K, and then they had open tests, and the next day they came to pick up the animal saying, oh, well, now they're K positive. By the way, their mother has K. And they never disclosed that to us either. So, there's a lot of questions, I guess, that we've learned that we need to be asking that we didn't know to ask. Like, do you have any K-positive animals? Do you have any Yonis-positive animals? Have you had those animals in your property before? And that sort of thing. Let's look at this a little bit. This little goat is very healthy. She had a healthy baby. She came from tested farm, and they hadn't tested for yonis, but we asked them to for us, and they did, and she was healthy and everything, and that's her little healthy baby boy. You know, so we have learned a lot in the couple of years that we've been doing goats. Sadly, the hard way, the heartbreaking hard way. Right, River? Yeah. So we've gone through quite a bit of goats, unfortunately, learning these hard lessons and the questions that we did not know to ask. But we love goats, and we're trying hard. Goats are not as easy as people have said they are. And, right, honey? Honey's our pregnant mama right now, and she's due. We birthed her here last year, lost her mother to, we think is bloat, but it possibly was mineral deficiencies on our property because our well water wasn't properly balanced. And so we have now what's called a mineral bar over here, and I'll go into that later in a different video because that's kind of in-depth. And now our goats are all gaining health really fast and things like that. So I'm going to shorten this video up a little bit. That's probably enough for one day. But that's a little bit more about some of the things that we're dealing with here and getting better at and things like that. So you'll get to see her babies coming up here in a few weeks because she is going to be having those. That's Honey. She's a Nubian, our last purebred Nubian on the farm. So we decided that other than her, we aren't going to do any purebred Nubians because of health things that we think are they're just overbred and things like that. So anyway, ow, don't bite. No, don't bite. Licking is fine. Yes, licking is good, yeah. All right. Well, y'all have a good Sunday, and we'll talk back soon.